Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Lolly and I want to do another in my series that I've been doing on these snap pouches. This was my first one and I will give you the link down below to how to make these pouches. And these are for storing mini envelope templates, but you can use them for whatever you want. Here is my second one. These ones were made with putting Mod Podge on the outside of them to give them stability. Then my next video I did in this series, I used self-adhesive laminating sheet, and that gave it a nice, smooth, and even texture there. The next one that I have for you is with fabric. So this is just adorable. So you don't have to sew on it. I did some on mine, but it's mostly just purely decorative. So this is what it looks like. I don't have anything in this right now, but let's get started with this. You're going to need a piece of fabric. First, let's start back up. We're going to need cardstock. And again, it's going to be 6 by 9.5 inches. Now on this one, I used double-sided cardstock. So what that created, unfortunately, well, you probably wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't said anything, but I can see the pattern of this cardstock through the fabric. So you probably don't want to use the double-sided cardstock. Just stick with the one-sided. So this will be the inside of the envelope that you'll see when you open it, like this. And you need some fabric. This is I got this from a fabric store, and this is a fabric that was, it was like in a sample pack for decorative home fabrics, I think. And so I want to use this, and I'm trying to figure out how to do this because I could get 2 pouches on it that way or this way. We'll see. Anyway, you need that. You need some heat and bond because that is what is going to adhere the fabric to the cardstock. And then just for decoration, like I have on the back here, I have some I have some turquoise fabric, I have some lace, I have some cardstock that I stamped on. You know, whatever you want for your label, if you want a label. You don't have to have one. And I'm just using fabric scraps that I already have, so it don't have to be perfectly matched. I don't want to go out and get more fabric. And then you need 2 pieces of cardstock for the hinges on the inside, those right there. And these need to be 2 inches by 3 3/4 inches. Now, I did Mod Podge on this side to give it extra stability. You could use self-adhesive laminating sheets, or you could use fabric. But all that always, whatever you choose to adhere, make sure you put it on the good side, and this is the side that's going to get glued. So I already Mod Podged these. I'm going to set them aside. My next step is I am going to iron the heat and bond to the wrong side of my cardstock. And so if you notice, their instructions on the back tell you to heat the iron to medium heat, no steam. Place adhesive on the back of the material to be bonded. The paper side should be up. Place and hold iron on the paper liner for 2 seconds. Repeat until the entire surface is bonded. Allow to cool before you trim that off and peel. Before you peel the paper and then iron it onto the fabric. So what I'm going to do is cut a piece of this a little larger than what I need. You see, this is shiny. This is the part that's going to get ironed onto this. So I'm going to cut a piece a little larger. So I'm going to put this back into my container. Nope, you know what? I'm also going to iron it onto this eventually. Let me think here. Yeah, I'll do that now. I'm going to cut this out to match this. Okay, so that's what I'll do. I will iron both of these. And so what you'll want to do is put either a Teflon sheet down on your ironing board or a piece of parchment paper. So flip this over, put the shiny side down, and press it, and right side down on your fabric, and press this. And you might also just want to put another piece of parchment paper on top so your iron doesn't stick to it. I know we have the sticky side down, but you never know. Okay, so I'm back. Now I'm going to trim off the excess of the heat and bond. Now I have this, and I'm going to put this aside for now. It does have the heat and bond on it, but I'm not ready to adhere it. So I'm going to take my fabric, and I'm going to put the right side down. Yep. And then I'm going to figure out where I want this. And I think that's going to be good right there. So I'm going to peel this paper, recycle that, and lay this down, and I'm going to press it. And now the instructions say, okay, cut to size, peel off paper, and adhesive ties, okay, 8 seconds. Now, before it was 2 seconds just to get it to tack, and now it is going to be 8 seconds. And I'm going to put a clean sheet of parchment over that to make sure that in case I didn't trim this well, that I don't get any gooey on my iron. So we let that cool before we start trimming. Use some sharp scissors. I don't like to use my fabric scissors here because sometimes I accidentally cut the cardstock, and I don't want to cut cardstock with my fabric scissors. And when you're doing this, when you're ironing on, make sure you press it really well around the edges too to make sure you have a good seal. And it's usually better to actually flip it over and iron with the fabric side up, because that way you can really see how good the hold you're getting on the adhesive. And then on my prototype, I did stitch kind of a zigzag around the edges. You don't have to do that. It was just basically decoration, but I think I will. There you go. Very cute. Okay, I'm going to zigzag. Now, I forgot to mention that when you're doing this, figure out which is going to be the top flap. I do not sew across there. I do the side, bottom, and side, because I'm going to put some edging across here, so I don't really need to stitch across there. But I do need to get my scoreboard out, and we're going to score this, and realize you're going through fabric as well. Put the part of the book or the pouch that's not, it's going to be not the flap. This is the flap. So put the other edge here, score it 4. And you could score before you sew if you want. And then score at 8 1/8. And it might be a little difficult to get that through. It did pretty good. Okay. With all that fabric on there, it makes it a little harder. And I'm using a Teflon bone folder, and it works really well for sliding across that fabric. There we go. And my thread's a little goopy right here because I ran out of thread and had to restart. Okay, so we've got that. Now before we put our hinges in, if we're going to do any label on the back, now is the time to do it. We could do it here, or we could do it on the back. It's totally up to you where you want that. If you want to have organization and you want to have your labels here, then you should do it there. And if that's the case, then with your bottom side up, you're going to put it there. Otherwise, we're going to turn it over and we're going to work on it right here. So what I did on this one, I have a rubber stamp that says confidential, and I picked that up from Tuesday Morning quite a while ago, and it was $1.99. This one I'm going to do says, take time to enjoy life's simple joys. So first I need to stamp that out on cardstock. This is scrap right here. And you can use any color you want. I think I am going to stick with the white. I'm not going to distress the edges on this, I don't think, but I want to see if I need anything else on here as a layer, like some other lace or rickrack or anything like that. I'm going to look through my stash. This looks pretty cute with the material I have chosen, so I think what I might do is go ahead and cut this out I made this larger than what I needed on purpose because I wanted to, plus I can use it again now. Let's trim off the edge here, and I'm kind of just going, I'm using pinking scissors, and these ones I got, actually, my daughter picked up at a thrift store. All right, there's that, and then I think I'm going to adhere this lace, but I might do this with glue after the fact. So let me put this right here and see what I think. Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll take this off. Remember, this is still the backing on that heat and bond. I'm going to press it there for 8 seconds and I'll be right back. All right, I pressed that on there, and then I went ahead and did some zigzag stitching on the side. So this is going to go on there, and I can sew it on. I can use heat and bond to attach this as well, or I can use the Beacon fabric adhesive, which I think I will this time. Putting it a little toward the top because I know I'm going to put that trim along the bottom there. Now you will notice that there's a button on this one, and that is just hand sewed on. You can glue it on if you want, but I would use a permanent glue, not hot glue. And I sewed it on before I added my sides in here. So in other words, while this is still in the open stages now, you can sew a button onto it right through the fabric and through the paper. That's up to you. If you change your mind later and you've already assembled this, you can always go and just glue the button on. Okay, let's clear off a little bit of spot here. Let's turn this over, and we have these sides to put in there, so let's score those. Okay, and we're going to score those every 1/2 inch. 1/2, 1, and 1 1/2. You will notice that I don't usually stick my work all the way up here because it's hard to get a good start, whereas I put it down here, I can get all the way scored to the very, very top of my paper. Okay, and let's get that burnish. And so you want the first fold with the design up, first fold up. So with this shape like an M, I'm going to add glue right here. And this is the tacky glue from Eileen's. I'm going to turn this, so this is my flap right here. I'm going to put this right here, matching the top and this side right there. Hold that in place for a moment. I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing. Get this shape like an M. And oops, that one's already coming undone. I probably should have gone ahead and used binder clips on that. And that's because there's thread on this paper now because I zigzagged it. So you're going to have to make sure you really glue it well. You might want to even use the Fabri-Tac on this because of the thread. Get your binder clips handy. And shut it and binder it. Okay, so this is the back. Very cute. I think it would look really cute with a button. So we also want to figure out, we can do the snap first and then worry about trim here. You know, it doesn't really matter unless the trim sticks out too far and it's hard to get the snap device in there. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this now for the snap. And so because this is 6 inches, I'm measuring 3 inches to get my halfway mark. So I know where the halfway mark is, and I'm measuring 1/2 inch in. I'm going to put my ruler at 1 inch and measure 1/2 inch down. So I know where to poke that hole. Okay. And I need to get the hole poked in here. Any sharp object will do it, like a tack will do it. And I'm just poking that hole through there. And while I have this, I'm going to mark where the hole is on this side as well. Yes, I can see it just perfectly. Okay, I'm going to open that back up. And select what kind of snap I want, what color. I'm probably going to go with the white this time. Think. I need 2 of the ones that look like a thumbtack to have that pokey on them. And then I need 1 concave and 1 convex. And the tool. And, you know, many people have said that they have owned this snap apparatus for a while and they were just afraid to use it. Practice on just a piece of scrap paper. Okay, so the thumbtack looking one goes through the back. And then it doesn't matter whether it's convex or concave. I'm going to put the convex on there. Okay, the black part goes against the smooth thing. And just squeeze it. Now I can do this one. Again, the pokey goes through the back. Oh, I didn't poke the hole yet. I just put away my pokey tool. Yeah, I marked my hole, but I didn't poke the hole in there. I'm putting my hand in here to make sure that I don't poke through both sides. Now I can do this. There we go. Okay. Looks like it's holding pretty well. I guess there's just one little corner. Not too bad. Okay, so that... Oops, I did it backwards. Oh my goodness. So this is a good thing that you saw that, because it does happen, and all you do is break the snap off there. Be careful not to tear your paper, though. I'll do it from this side. Wow, so if you're afraid of this not snapping well, that's proof that it does snap well. So let me get those back out. So this one is the concave. Now I need the convex one on there. Okay, this is the way it's supposed to go. The completely flat piece is supposed to come down through the top. It's supposed to be the prettiest. There we go. Okay, now let's do that again. Throw away my old pieces here. Okay. Okay, so now I have this edge here, and I do want to glue some trim on it. Let me see what I have. Okay, this has been one of my favorite trims, and I got this from a thrift store from my Creative Reuse Center, and I just love it. It has a beautiful vintage feel to it. I'm going to open this back up so that I can apply this evenly here. And it's because of applying this trim that I didn't round the corners like I did on these ones. I rounded them, and I think the trim looks better if you don't round your corners. Okay, that is good to the touch. So that is our snap pouch using fabric and heat and bond. I think I do like the look of a button, so let's get one on there. I see I have this ivory colored heart button way down in here. Let's see if I can find it. And I could have centered things differently had I realized I would do a button, so I could turn it over this way or turn it up with the pearly side up, and either way is fine with me. I think I will do pearly side up first, though. Okay, let me get my glue. So what I want to do is put a little bit on the back here, and a little dot right there, and wait for 2 minutes before I put those together. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so now I'm going to put this up there. So this glue is the Super Tights Multi-Grab 360. And if you wait 5 minutes instead of 2 minutes, then it really gets a permanent hold. So there you go. So adorable. Okay, very happy with that. I hope that inspires you to get through your fabric swatches, your fabric that you have in your stash. Get out your little pieces and see what you can make out of your remnants. Thank you for watching. Make sure you look at the video description down below. So, you know, if you're on your phone or on your computer, it doesn't matter. You have to click the little downward arrow to open up and expand all of the links down below, and then you will see how, you know, my first projects. It's a whole playlist now I'm making of these snap pouches, so you will see all of them in there. And I'm also going to work on some more pouches without snaps. So thank you so much for watching.